Well, I haven't made any fish videos since I moved from Kansas City, and I've had enough time to actually scum up some tanks. But this is one of my better ones. It's actually a breeder grower. I do have some that are hopefully breeding in there, but if they don't, that's okay. They rotate around to my breeding tanks. This tank here is a baby's tank. I got a mama 1 in there, and there's a mama 2 in there somewhere. Where's mama 2? She's in that corner hiding. Let's see if we can make you focus. There we go. Alright, so these are baby's tank. Those are not the smallest of the babies. There's a small one. There's a few small ones in there. I'm having a problem with some of the mamas are eating the babies, so I went to move them over to this tank, and oh my, is that water not clear? That water is a lot more whitish looking. There we go. And the problem with this is the light. And if I add clarifier, and that balance, where's clarifier? If I add some of that clarifier in there, it actually makes it worse. Not only that, I have die off of fish. As you can see, they're all clumping at the top, which is not good. I'm also running an external over and under hanging filter, they call them now, Whispers. And there's a sand shark in there. The sand shark does pretty good for circulation. I've used this tank for quite a while, and it's pretty filthy. I just cleaned it actually and did a 50% water change. It's the second 50% water change I've done. The problem is that light. I had that light on this tank, and I had the same problem with this tank. I've got white lights over here, as you can see, and these white lights do generate a slight problem, but not as nasty as that one. As you can see, those guys are up there, but they've got babies down here. Let's see if any of the babies show up. I just pulled all the babies out of here, hopefully. Usually miss one or two. I do not see any. Well, I guess I got them all, or I got all the ones that are worth getting. There's a baby. Right there. That is a baby fish, and that is incredibly small. Yep. Say, I'm a baby. And I am not a newborn now. Newborns look a little different. They don't have good spine definition. He's got spine definition, so he's been around for a couple days. And there looks like another baby behind him. Yep. I think there's another baby behind him. That's not from the other tank. Get focused. There we go. Anyway, how old are you? I'd say that's a few days old, up to a week. He's a few days old. And these are all guppies. Guppies are incredibly easy. You put them in a tank together, male and female, you get babies. A lot of people get kind of intimidated by that. I don't know why. That's how you keep them going. They only last for about a year. They're probably one of the shortest life easy fish, I think. See that male there? He's a beautiful male. He almost looks like a betta, but he's not a beta. He is a guppy, and I'm trying to get him to breed, and as you can see, he has been paying for it with his skirt. It's pretty shredded. The females in there are pretty big too. They're bigger than him. They're big. I do drive my females pretty hard. There's one right there. She's about ready to pop. Yeah, you girl. So those are babies in her backside. And these are the tanks I usually size the fish up in. I'm doing some thermal stuff with these. Now these tanks are so old. I want to show this too. I have this stuff is like concrete. It's been so long since I've cleaned down here. See how I can, oh man, see the bubbles coming up? That's not good either. Anyway, this tank desperately needs a clean. Look at all that. But I've got my Java fern going in there, and it exploded. I've actually put pieces of it around in some of these other tanks, Once I get it going in a couple of other tanks, I'll be able to clean this one. That one there's no excuse, but if you look at it, the water's fairly clear. Again, I do this with undergravel filters. I'm not an all-natural guy, although I do throw logs in, I throw house plants in, throw all kinds of things in my tanks. It's usually good to throw them in a smaller tank with just a few fish, and that way you can make sure they don't kill the fish. And once you see that the fish are okay after a couple of days, you throw them into a bigger tank. That's one way to do it. Anyway, I'm a little more reckless than that sometimes. This tank is empty. It's ready to go. This tank, I just put those guys in there today. They came from this tank. This tank's a little bit overpopulated. I took some of these guys here and moved them over here. Sorry about my messy apartment. I've been taking care of fish for the past few days. There we go. These fish are for the most part from that tank too. I hate putting them in here, but because they're dying on me in this tank. That's the other thing. Whatever this white stuff is, the only thing that knocks it down a little bit is one, turning off the light, and two, Algae-Gon sometimes puts a dent in it. I did put some Algae-Gon in there. Still, all the fish are hanging at the top. It's depleting the oxygen. It's a bacteria or algae, and it's feeding off that light. And again, I'm having some problems with white LED lights. This one's a really bad one. These, not so bad. This is one of those ones that's tied together where there's two lights on it. And then I've got one more white one down there. I'm replacing all the lights with this style. It's mainly because the on-off switch works better. One more thing that gotcha to show you before we go. This guy right here, he's disconnected. We're gonna connect him for a second. Sometimes he turns into Disco Charlie. Yeah, wait till you see what he does. Wrong side, found him. Okay, he's not doing disco. But these controls don't work. They don't do much of anything. There we go. And this one's supposed to change the colors. But what'll happen is this light will just turn red, or it'll go into red, blue, looks like an emergency vehicle, or a disco ball. And that's just a hint. I remember I've taken 2 netfuls of these out. One being up here, and the other being in that tank that's got a cloud problem. So, yeah. And again, I'm just doing guppies. I am breeding them to sell, so one of the things I do that's a little bit different than other people, you can get by with guppies and good old flake food. That's one kind. That's not important what brand. I'm actually feeding them, that's a refill, and I'm actually feeding them goldfish flakes to use them up. I do use wafers down in the bottom. That helps save fry too, if you're going to try breeding them. Putting some of these down in the bottom, I get better yields of fry in the fry tanks. Anyway, I thought I'd let you see what I've been up to for a while. This is a 9-minute video, one of my longer ones. Again, I'll make a nice long one that's doing something when I'm all cleaned up and I don't have pliers sitting out and nets everywhere. I do want to show off my little breeders. These are what I use for brine shrimp. And my cat's following me around. You can see him too. Alright, well, this is just a short one, inspired by Garcia Aquatics. Can't remember his channel name right now. Something to do with fish, I'm sure. Anyway, Garcia Aquatics. Haven't heard from Aqua Malik in a while. Anyway, I'll let you guys go.